Combat Reality Series Video 8 De-Escalation Under Pressure, Buying Time to Act. Introduction. De-escalation isn't always about peace, sometimes it's about positioning. In my years of training law enforcement and military personnel, I've learned that words can be your most powerful weapon or your most dangerous liability. Today we're talking about de-escalation under pressure, but not the kind they teach in conflict resolution seminars. This is tactical de-escalation, using your voice and words to buy time, gather intelligence, and position yourself for action while appearing to seek peaceful resolution. There's a critical difference between genuine de-escalation and tactical de-escalation. Sometimes you're actually trying to calm the situation. Other times, you're interviewing your potential attacker, positioning for advantage, and preparing for violence while they think you're backing down. Both skills can save your life. Knowing when to use which one will determine whether you go home safe. The reality of when words become weapons. Your voice is the first tool in your arsenal and often the most effective. But understanding when and how to use it tactically can mean the difference between survival and becoming a victim. Genuine de-escalation happens when you actually want to avoid conflict. The situation can be resolved peacefully, and everyone walks away unharmed. You're using words, tone, and body language to genuinely calm the situation and find common ground. Tactical de-escalation happens when violence is likely inevitable, but you need time and positioning. You're not trying to make friends, you're conducting an interview, gathering intelligence, and maneuvering for tactical advantage while the aggressor believes you're seeking peaceful resolution. The key question: can this person be reasoned with, or are they committed to violence? Your approach depends entirely on this assessment. A rational person having a bad day requires different tactics than a predator who's already decided you're his victim. Critical insight: tactical de-escalation isn't lying or manipulation for personal gain, it's survival strategy. When someone intends to harm you, using their expectations against them to gain advantage is legitimate self-defense. You're buying precious seconds to position, plan, and prepare. Reading pre-attack indicators, the interview process. Every potential attacker conducts an interview. They're assessing whether you're a suitable victim. But smart defenders conduct their own interview, gathering critical intelligence while appearing cooperative. Physical pre-attack indicators, the human body betrays violent intentions before the mind commits to action. Watch for clenched fists or white knuckles, which indicate rising tension and preparation for striking. Jaw tightening or teeth grinding shows internal stress and anger building toward violence. Facial color changes are equally telling. Flushing indicates an adrenaline surge, while going pale suggests fight or flight activation. Breathing patterns shift dramatically before attacks. Rapid breathing or sudden breath holding both signal physiological preparation for violence. Perhaps most critical is weight shifting to the balls of the feet, which positions the body for explosive forward movement. Experienced attackers also display tactical awareness. Looking around for witnesses or escape routes shows premeditation, while removing jewelry, watches, or excess clothing indicates preparation for physical confrontation. Finally, watch for hands moving toward pockets, waistbands, or other concealed weapon locations. This is often the final indicator before violence begins. This is much like the 4 laws of violent attack. Step 1, you are in the wrong place at the wrong time. Step 2, they approach you to talk with you. Step 3, they converse with you. However, once they swear, the attack is imminent. Step 4, the attack begins. Verbal pre-attack indicators, listen carefully to vocal changes as they reveal escalating violence potential. Volume escalation often precedes physical escalation. As voice gets louder and more aggressive, physical action becomes more likely. Profanity patterns are equally revealing. When cursing increases in frequency and intensity, emotional control is diminishing. Threats that become more specific and personal indicate the transition from general anger to targeted violence. Repetitive, aggressive phrases suggest obsessive thinking and reduced rational processing. Paradoxically, voices becoming eerily calm after intense anger can signal that the decision to commit violence has been made. Be especially alert to questions about your personal life, routine, or circumstances. Predators gather intelligence about potential victims. Testing boundaries with increasingly invasive comments shows escalating boldness and reduced respect for your autonomy, often preceding physical boundary violations. This is the perfect place to apply Musashi's wise law: paint the picture you want your opponent to see. For example, you mention you are a cop and waiting for your partner to join you. Or my husband is a cop, and he is coming to join me. Another possibility is to tell them you are an off-duty FBI agent. This helps you use words to push them back from attacking you, because doing so will only lead them into a vast amount of trouble. Behavioral pre-attack indicators: actions often speak louder than words when assessing violent intent. Distance violations are critical warning signs. Someone closing distance despite your clear requests for space shows complete disregard for your boundaries and comfort. Circling behavior or attempts to get behind you indicate tactical positioning for attack advantage. Physical contact escalation, starting with accidental bumping and progressing to deliberate touching or space invasion, tests your responses and asserts dominance. When reasonable requests to stop are consistently ignored, it demonstrates their lack of commitment to controlling the interaction, regardless of your wishes. Multiple attackers positioning themselves around you while one engages in conversation reveals coordinated predatory behavior. Perhaps most dangerous is the sudden shift from aggression to artificial friendliness. This predator charm technique aims to lower your guard before striking. Each of these behaviors represents boundary testing that, when unchecked, typically escalates to physical violence. Your counter-interview questions: while appearing to de-escalate, you're actually conducting reconnaissance through strategic questioning. "What do you need from me?" directly reveals their intent. Reasonable people will articulate specific, rational needs, while predators often struggle to justify their behavior or reveal criminal intent. "How can we solve this?" tests their commitment to rational resolution versus their fixation on control or violence. Reasonable individuals will engage in problem solving. Unreasonable ones will dismiss solutions that don't involve your submission or compliance. "What would make this better?" assesses their reasonableness and reveals whether they seek genuine resolution or are committed to a predetermined outcome. "Are you okay?" "You seem upset" serves dual purposes. It humanizes the interaction by showing apparent concern while simultaneously revealing their emotional state and capacity for rational thought. Each question provides critical intelligence about their mindset, intentions, and likelihood of violence while maintaining the appearance of cooperative de-escalation. Critical principle: the person who stays calm and gathers information controls the situation. Emotional people reveal their plans. Tactical people exploit that revelation. Tactical communication: talking while positioning. The key to tactical de-escalation is saying the right things while doing the right things. Your words keep them talking, your positioning keeps you alive. Voice control techniques: vocal mastery under pressure requires understanding how voice affects perception and outcome. A lower pitch naturally conveys authority and calm competence. Higher pitched voices suggest fear or a lack of control, which predators interpret as weakness. A moderate pace prevents misunderstandings and projects thoughtful confidence, while speaking too fast suggests panic, and speaking too slowly can be perceived as condescending. Volume matching is crucial. Don't yell at someone who's yelling, as this escalates tension, but don't whisper when firmness is needed. Breathing control forms the foundation of vocal control. Controlled breathing keeps your voice steady and projects calm confidence even when adrenaline is surging. Clear enunciation prevents any confusion or misinterpretation that could escalate the situation, ensuring your words achieve their intended tactical effect rather than creating additional conflict through misunderstanding. Positioning during communication: your body position during verbal engagement is as important as your words. Maintaining a 6 to 8 foot distance creates the reactionary gap, enough space to observe incoming attacks and respond appropriately while still allowing for everyday conversation. Angling your body 45 degrees presents a smaller target profile and positions your strong side forward. This is counterintuitive, but why would you fight with your worst weapon on the front line from an immediate attack? You want your most coordinated side toward your attacker. If you are right-handed, then you would like that hand forward to deal with the attack. Don't handicap yourself by using your non-favored hand forward. Using environmental obstacles, such as cars, tables, other people, poles, or furniture, between you and the threat provides additional protection and escape options while appearing natural rather than tactical. Always maintain awareness of your exit routes. Never let conversation distract you from planning your escape path. Most critically, never allow them to get behind you during verbal engagement, as this eliminates your ability to see threats developing and gives them a tactical advantage for attack or restraint. Usually, as one person keeps you talking, looking at them, the bad guys have another one of their team to sneak in behind you. Always maintain good situational awareness. Remember, you can back up against the wall to foil any flanking attacks. Plus, this cuts in half the avenues for the bad guys to attack you. Tactical phrases that work. Specific language patterns can diffuse aggression while providing tactical advantages. I understand you're upset validates their emotional state without agreeing with their actions or demands, often reducing defensive reactions while gathering emotional intelligence. Help me understand what you need positions you as cooperative while extracting critical information about their intentions and mental state. I don't want any trouble projects apparent submission and non-threat status while you maneuver into a better tactical position. Let's figure this out implies collaborative problem solving and buys time while suggesting you're focused on resolution rather than resistance. You're absolutely right can deflate ego-driven aggression by giving them what they want to hear while you position for advantage or escape. What would you like me to do appears to grant them control while forcing them to articulate their demands, revealing their true intentions and providing intelligence about their planning and mental state. Body language that supports your words. Your physical presentation must align with your verbal message for maximum effectiveness. Open hands, positioned at the bottom of your rib cage, appear non-threatening while remaining ready for defensive action or tool deployment. Closed fists or hidden hands, on the other hand, suggest aggression or concealed weapons. A slight forward lean demonstrates engagement and interest in the resolution without appearing aggressive or challenging, showing that you're paying attention to their concerns. Maintaining steady eye contact without staring fosters rapport and conveys confidence, allowing you to monitor their emotional state and physical cues. Avoiding eye contact may suggest fear or deception, while staring can be perceived as a challenge or a threat. Relaxed shoulders project confidence and non-aggression while maintaining readiness for action. Raised or hunched shoulders suggest fear or preparation for violence. A balanced stance keeps you stable for communication while remaining mobile for defensive movement, avoiding static positions that limit your response options without appearing overtly tactical or threatening. What you're really doing, beneath the surface of apparent de-escalation, you're conducting sophisticated tactical operations. Assessing their commitment to violence helps you determine whether a genuine resolution is possible or if you're dealing with someone who has already decided to attack you. Identifying weapons or backup through subtle observation during conversation reveals additional threats and informs your tactical response planning. Improving your position and escape routes while talking appears natural, but provides critical advantages if violence becomes necessary. Gathering information about their mental state, emotional stability, and decision-making capacity tells you whether they can be reasoned with or if they're beyond rational engagement. Buying time serves multiple purposes, allowing help to arrive, letting their adrenaline subside, or providing opportunities for better tactical options to develop. One little known fact is that if you can keep them in an adrenaline state, it will impair their fine motor skills. Thus, they can only attack you with gross motor skills, which are far less effective for self-defense or to mount a successful attack on you. This basically states that if you can calm them down, that is good. If you need to fight, having them in a gross motor skill environment is beneficial for you. Testing whether genuine resolution is possible through their responses to reasonable suggestions helps you determine if continued verbal engagement is worthwhile or if you should prepare for physical defense. This multi-layered approach maximizes your chances of a peaceful resolution while ensuring you're prepared if that fails. Critical warning: if they continue advancing despite your words, stop talking and start acting. Words have failed, action is required. Remember, eyes, throat, and groin. When de-escalation fails, transition indicators. The most dangerous moment in any confrontation is when you realize words won't work. Recognizing this transition point can save your life. Verbal transition indicators. When de-escalation fails, their speech patterns change dramatically. They stop responding to reasonable questions, indicating they've mentally shifted from conversation to action mode. Repetition of threats without acknowledgement of your responses shows obsessive thinking and reduced rational processing. Voice changes are particularly telling. Monotone delivery suggests emotional detachment and a final decision, while eerily calm speech after rage indicates the transition from an emotional reaction to a calculated action. Eye contact patterns shift significantly, either stopping completely as they focus internally on their attack plan or intensely staring as they prepare to act. Language becomes purely aggressive, lacking any reasoning component, and eliminates logical discussion points, focusing solely on dominance or threats. They systematically cut off your attempts to speak, showing they're no longer interested in dialogue and have mentally committed to their predetermined course of action. Physical transition indicators. Physical actions reveal the imminent failure of verbal de-escalation. Continued closing of distance despite your clear words and positioning shows complete disregard for boundaries and indicates their mental transition to physical control. Hand movements toward weapons, pockets, waistbands, or other concealed areas suggest preparation for escalation beyond verbal confrontation. Taking obvious attack stances, weight forward, fists clenched, body bladed, while you're still talking reveals the disconnect between your verbal approach and their physical intentions. Rapid scanning behavior, looking around quickly for witnesses, help, or escape routes, indicates final preparation for action. Actively removing obstacles between you, such as moving chairs, shopping carts, bags, or other items, shows that they're clearing the path for physical engagement. Most concerning is when associates begin moving into strategic positions around you during the conversation. This reveals coordinated planning and eliminates any possibility of a peaceful resolution. Behavioral transition indicators. Behavioral changes signal the definitive end of productive dialogue. They completely stop pretending to listen, no longer acknowledging your words or responding to your questions, indicating their mental shift from conversation to action. Attempts to isolate you from others, suggesting you move somewhere private, step away from witnesses, or go to a different location, reveal predatory intentions and eliminate any remaining possibility of peaceful resolution. Testing boundaries with deliberate physical contact, accidental bumping, or invasion of personal space shows escalating boldness and preparation for greater violations. Ignoring all reasonable requests demonstrates complete disregard for your autonomy and rights. Sudden personality changes, especially shifts from artificial charm to open aggression, indicate manipulation tactics have failed and they're reverting to their true intentions. Time pressure tactics, giving you ultimatums or countdowns, create artificial urgency designed to force compliance and prevent you from seeking help or considering alternatives. The transition moment. This is when tactical de-escalation ends and physical defense begins. There's no middle ground, you either commit to action or become a victim. Your response protocol. When verbal de-escalation fails, your response must be immediate and decisive. Stop talking immediately. Continuing to speak when they've mentally transitioned to violence wastes precious time and energy while giving them additional seconds to position or prepare. Create distance by stepping back or moving to a more advantageous position, as this provides reaction time and escape options while potentially discouraging their advance. Raise your voice significantly, yell for help, attention, assistance, or even fire, as this can deter the attack, summon aid, or create witnesses who can intervene or report the incident. Prepare your defensive tools by accessing pepper spray, your self-defense weapon, defensive implements, or improvised weapons while there's still time to do so effectively. Execute your predetermined plan decisively, whether striking first to create escape opportunity or moving to your planned escape route. Hesitation at this critical moment can be fatal. Critical principle. The person who recognizes the transition first and acts decisively survives. The person who keeps trying to talk gets hurt. Voice as weapon and deterrent. Your voice can stop fights before they start or end them quickly once they begin. Understanding how to weaponize your vocal presence is a critical combat skill. Voice as deterrent. Your vocal presence can prevent violence before it starts by projecting capability and resolve. Command voice, developed in military and law enforcement training, uses an authoritative tone and delivery that compels compliance through psychological conditioning. Most people automatically respond to properly delivered commands. Clear boundary setting through firm, unambiguous statements establishes consequences and demonstrates you're not a passive victim, often causing opportunistic predators to seek easier targets. Confidence projection through vocal tone suggests you're trained, prepared, and not easily intimidated, making risk-averse criminals reconsider their target selection. Authority assumption involves speaking as if you expect to be obeyed, tapping into social conditioning that responds to confident leadership. Maintaining calm under pressure through controlled vocal delivery suggests training and capability, implying you're more dangerous than you appear and potentially not worth the risk of engaging. Voice as weapon. When deterrence fails, your voice becomes an active weapon in the confrontation. Disruption yelling uses sudden loud commands to break their concentration and interrupt their attack sequence, potentially creating openings for escape or counterattack. Attention-grabbing calls for help draw witnesses, assistance, or intervention that can end the confrontation or provide evidence for later prosecution. Confusion creation employs unexpected responses or questions that disrupt their mental script and force them to recalculate their approach, buying you precious time. Intimidation projection uses tone and delivery to suggest they've made a serious mistake in targeting you, potentially causing them to reconsider or hesitate. Command compliance involves delivering orders with such authority and an expectation of obedience that individuals may automatically comply before realizing they have a choice, particularly when conditioned to respond to authority. Tactical vocal techniques. Specific vocal methods serve different tactical purposes in confrontational situations. The sharp, authoritative stop, or back off, delivered with military precision can halt someone mid-action through psychological conditioning, prompting a response to commands. Aggressive questioning, such as "what's your problem?" delivered with confrontational energy, can shift the dynamic by putting them on the defensive and forcing them to justify their behavior. Direct commands such as "get away from me" work when delivered with absolute expectation of compliance, tapping into social conditioning to obey authoritative instructions. Emergency alerts, such as "help," "fire," "call police," serve a purpose: to summon assistance and inform potential attackers that their actions are being witnessed and will be reported. Confusion tactics, such as using unexpected responses or questions, can disrupt their planned approach and force them to reconsider their strategy, creating opportunities for escape or de-escalation. Environmental voice usage. Different environments require adapted vocal strategies for maximum effectiveness. Indoor spaces where voice carries and echoes amplify your vocal impact, making them ideal for attention-drawing techniques that can help or discourage attackers who prefer privacy. Outdoor environments require greater projection to carry your voice farther. Still, they also offer better opportunities for attracting the attention of distant witnesses or passers-by who might intervene or call authorities. Crowded areas require short, clear commands that cut through ambient noise and immediately convey distress or a need for assistance to nearby people. Isolated areas require careful voice energy management, saving your vocal strength for critical moments when yelling might be your only hope of attracting help or discouraging attack. When defensive weapons are involved, verbal commands enhance tool effectiveness by creating psychological pressure and potentially avoiding the need for physical deployment while demonstrating your serious intent to use the tool if necessary. Examples of voice as combat tool. Specific vocal applications demonstrate the weapon-like effectiveness of strategic speech. A sudden, explosive NO, delivered at maximum volume, can physically stop someone mid-action by triggering instinctive responses to sharp, authoritative commands. Declaring "I'm calling the police" immediately changes their risk-benefit calculation by introducing law enforcement consequences they may not have considered. The boundary statement "get your hands off me" serves multiple purposes, establishing clear non-consent, attracting attention from witnesses, and creating legal documentation of unwanted contact. Shouting "fire" rather than "help" exploits human psychology, as people are more likely to investigate potential fire danger than to risk involvement in violent confrontations. Creating doubt with "you've got the wrong person" can disrupt their certainty and force them to reconsider their target selection or their information, potentially buying time or creating complete disengagement. Critical understanding. Your voice is often more effective than your hands. A well-timed yell can end confrontations that fists cannot. Tools Integration Voice and Defender Series. The combination of tactical voice and quality tools creates a psychological and physical force multiplier that often ends confrontations before they become physical. Voice plus tool deterrent effect. The Defender series becomes significantly more effective when combined with proper vocal techniques. The sight of a defensive tool plus a confident, authoritative voice often convinces aggressors to seek easier targets. Verbal commands with tools. Combining tactical speech with defensive tools creates powerful deterrent effects that often prevent the need for physical engagement. Commanding back off while displaying defensive capability sends clear messages about both your intentions and capabilities, often causing rational aggressors to recalculate their approach. Stating "I don't want to hurt you" while holding a deterrent tool demonstrates restraint and gives them opportunity to disengage while making clear the consequences of continued aggression. Ordering "stay where you are" with a tool in a ready position establishes control and boundaries while providing legal justification for tool use if they continue to advance. Now, understand, they most likely have never seen a self-defense weapon or defender. This raises their fear level, and they might just run away, not knowing what you are holding. This has happened many times, so I have heard from clients. Take advantage of the unknown shock value of a defender. Directing someone to call the police while maintaining a defensive posture brings help while keeping the aggressor aware that you're prepared to defend yourself until assistance arrives. Warning: this is your only warning with a visible tool provides final opportunity for peaceful resolution while making clear that continued aggression will meet prepared resistance. Tool presentation psychology. When someone sees the Defender 2 or ICE model combined with confident vocal commands, they're forced to reassess the risk-reward ratio. Most opportunistic attackers will disengage rather than face prepared resistance. Vocal technique during tool use. Before contact, using voice as primary deterrent with visible tools to force risk reassessment. During contact, voice for disruption, attention drawing, and creating tactical advantages. After contact, help summoning and maintaining control of the neutralized situation. Advanced integration. The defender who can seamlessly blend vocal techniques with tool deployment while maintaining tactical positioning represents a complete defensive package that most aggressors will avoid. Training for tactical de-escalation. Like any combat skill, tactical de-escalation requires practice to be effective under pressure. Drill 1: Voice control under stress. Practice maintaining vocal control while performing physical exercises. Your voice must stay calm and authoritative even when your heart rate is elevated. Drill 2: Positioning while talking. Practice tactical communication while maintaining proper distance, angles, and positioning. Talk your way through scenarios while your body does the right things. Drill 3: Indicator recognition. Practice identifying pre-attack indicators in controlled scenarios. Train your eyes to see the signs while your mouth conducts the interview. Drill 4: Transition training. Practice the moment when talking ends and action begins. This transition must become automatic and decisive. Drill 5: Voice as weapon. Practice different vocal techniques, commands, deterrence, attention drawing, boundary setting. Your voice is a tool that requires training. Mental training. Visualize de-escalation scenarios with both successful peaceful resolution and tactical positioning for inevitable action. Mental rehearsal builds confidence in both approaches. Scenario practice. Role-play different types of confrontations. Training must include diverse scenarios because each type of aggressor requires different de-escalation approaches and risk assessments. A rational person having a bad day responds well to genuine empathy, validation of their frustration, and collaborative problem solving. These individuals can usually be reasoned with once their emotional temperature decreases and they feel heard and understood. An intoxicated individual with poor judgment presents different challenges, as alcohol impairs reasoning while amplifying emotions and reducing impulse control, requiring simpler communication, clearer boundaries, and greater focus on your own safety since their behavior is unpredictable and can escalate rapidly. A predator conducting a victim interview is actively assessing your suitability as a target through seemingly innocent questions about your routine, living situation, or vulnerabilities. This scenario requires tactical de-escalation where you appear cooperative while avoiding information disclosure and positioning for escape. Multiple attackers with pack dynamics require recognition that one person may be engaging you verbally while others position tactically, necessitating constant environmental awareness and positioning that prevents encirclement while maintaining the appearance of a focused conversation. Armed threats require the most careful approach, as the presence of weapons dramatically escalates danger levels and may necessitate immediate compliance balanced with tactical positioning and escape planning, since de-escalation failure with armed aggressors often results in life-threatening situations. Critical training principle: practice both genuine and tactical de-escalation. You need both skills because real-world situations require both approaches. In closing, de-escalation is a tool, not a philosophy. Sometimes you genuinely want to resolve conflict peacefully. Other times you're buying time and positioning while appearing to seek peace. Both approaches can save your life. Wisdom is knowing which to use when. Remember, every confrontation starts with words, but not every confrontation ends with them. Your job is to read the situation correctly, use your voice tactically, and be prepared to act decisively when talking fails. The person who controls the conversation often controls the outcome. But the person who recognizes when conversation has failed and transitions to action survives. Use code COMBAT for our Combat Series discount on Defender tools that integrate perfectly with tactical de-escalation techniques. Next week, Weapon Defense Reality, what works when they're armed and you're not. We'll cover the truth about disarming techniques, firearm threats, and blade defense reality. Master these de-escalation concepts before moving to weapon defense. Your voice might prevent the need for physical defense entirely. Remember, words can be your most powerful weapon if you know how to use them tactically.